Narcissistic abuse is very often the perfect storm. They say the most stressful life events, other than imprisonment, torture, and war, are divorce, death of a loved one, job loss, moving house, severe illness, natural disaster. Snap. Trauma expert Peter Levine observes that we become traumatized when our ability to respond to perceived threat is in some way overwhelmed. The capacity to choose, think, behave, or feel differently is only possible when our nervous system is in a safe, relaxed, and engaged enough state to do so. The people around us, busily dealing with their own baseline stress on a daily basis, might tell us we're exaggerating, making mountains out of molehills, overreacting, being a drama queen, having a victim mentality, or playing the blame game. While our private stresses mount up and we continue to store more and more stress in our bodies. We suppress it and carry on until something breaks. Trauma or nervous breakdown, when greeted with kindness and compassion by ourselves and others, has room to heal. When greeted with antipathy, judgment, criticism, embarrassment, shame, and blame, it intensifies. Sadly, this is what many female victims of domestic abuse, narcissistic abuse, and sexual assault experience in our culture. Coercive persuasion or coercive control. People get the idea of coercive control now. That is intimidating, bullying, strong-arming someone into doing what you want them to do. They understand, I forbid you from working, or no wife of mine is going to do X, Y, Z, spoken in loud, aggressive, domineering tones. What they don't get is coercive persuasion. That is manipulating someone into a weak, dependent position where they're in your control. You should leave that job because you deserve so much better, and I really want to support you financially. We don't need the money. I'll take care of you. Or, I don't see why you associate with XYZ because that person's just using you, a really bad influence on you, not your friend. Spoken with apparent concern, compassion, and your best interests at heart. Coercive persuasion is a sinister technique used by so many narcissists. Online, people use the term brainwashing to describe it because it requires the trust, love, or respect of the unsuspecting victim in order to work. Isolate the victim, expose them to inconsistent messages, encourage them to doubt their own experience, wear them down, mix with sleep deprivation or intoxicant abuse, and stir well. Unfortunately for us, we only recognize the coercive persuasion in hindsight when the damage has been done. When we left the job, ditched the career, dumped the friends, moved towns or countries, handed over the car, house, or money, gave the glowing character reference, became complicit in our own demise. The thing is that any of those major life decisions might be fair and reasonable in a fair and reasonable partnership between two people who vowed to stick with each other through thick and thin, sickness and health, where there is healthy give and take. But the narcissist uses the power he or she is given by someone who loves him or her as the means by which he or she gains sadistic pleasure. Using persuasive control, he can convince a trusting, loyal, loving, vulnerable person to go past the point of no return, socially, professionally, financially, emotionally, and psychologically. Once that point of no return has been reached, the game is over and he abandons his victim to the fate he created. It might not have been violent in the usual sense of the word, but it's incredibly cruel and extremely violent. Very few people, including family, friends, lawyers, and shrinks, will understand this kind of cruelty and violence. It's covert, hidden, secret, taboo, and articulating it when we're in shock and traumatized is nigh on impossible. If we knew what was happening, we wouldn't have let it happen. Our power was robbed of us. But for a long, long time in the aftermath, we feel like we gave it away willingly. And when the narcissist and others say that we have no one to blame but ourselves, it reinforces our own self-blame and papers over the truth of what really happened. If you're struggling with this kind of trauma, if you're struggling to understand what the hell just happened and to wrap your head around the weird behavior of the person who vowed that they loved and trusted you, who vowed they wanted to look after you forever and care for you in every way, who convinces other people around you and them that they're the best thing that ever happened to you. Well, I'm here. Please reach out.